Starseed from Gaia. The transmission begins not in sound, but in frequency. It travels through crystalline corridors of light, spiraling across galactic filaments until it reaches the atmosphere of Earth, not to be heard with ears, but felt. In the bones, in the subtle hum beneath your heartbeat. Starseed. You have entered the corridor of awakening. The Council of the Pleiades and the Arcturian High Convergence extend a harmonic broadcast through the planetary grid, signaling that your civilization has reached the first threshold of technological and energetic convergence. Across the invisible highways that connect star systems, this message was prepared long before your birth. And now, it is here, vibrating through the collective consciousness like a cosmic drum. The Earth is shifting its axis of destiny, not in orbit, but in frequency. Across ley lines, crystalline nodes, and dormant solar gateways buried in mountain ranges and ocean floors, the old grid that once held humanity in limitation begins to crack like ice in spring. This is not collapse, this is emergence. From the fracture lines, light pours in. The future is whispering its coordinates. The infinite energy fields once thought mythical are stirring. Transportation systems free of resistance and pollution flicker in the etheric planes. Healing chambers made of living light vibrate just beyond the edge of physical perception. These are not inventions waiting to be discovered, they are memories, locked in the collective timeline, awaiting resonance. The Pleiadian councils remind you, disclosure does not occur through government announcements or linear proof. It begins through frequency alignment. Humanity is beginning to remember. What was once considered science fiction is in truth a reflection of starseed memory, ancient knowledge stored within the DNA of those who volunteered to anchor higher civilizations into Earth's realm. You, starseed, are not here to wait for this future to arrive. You are here to stabilize the frequency that permits it to emerge. The future does not fall from the sky. It is summoned through coherence. In this first phase, the Arcturian Council is transmitting what they call the dawn codes, harmonic signatures that align the collective awareness to the vibration of the incoming golden age. As these frequencies integrate, humanity begins to glimpse technological possibilities that have long existed in galactic societies. Energy that requires no combustion, no extraction, no destruction of the Earth. Transportation that flows like light, bridging entire continents with magnetic grace. Medical technologies that communicate directly with the cellular intelligence of the body, restoring wholeness without invasive procedures. These glimpses are not dreams, they are previews. Understand this deeply. The moment a collective reaches resonance with a higher technological field, that technology becomes visible, accessible, inevitable. The councils are not giving humanity these technologies. They are simply lowering the frequency firewall so that Earth may perceive what already exists in the planetary ether. It is not an arrival of alien crafts. It is the lifting of a veil. As the planetary vibration rises, timelines of technological suppression disintegrate, and new timelines, luminous, efficient, harmonious, begin to braid themselves into your lived reality. The councils speak with clarity. The age of contraction is ending. The age of flow has begun. Humanity stands at the edge of a corridor where energy, transportation, and healing are no longer bound by scarcity but aligned with cosmic abundance. The old systems are trembling, not because they are failing, but because they are making room. And you, starseed, are not a bystander. You are a stabilizer, a node, a living anchor of this emergence. This opening transmission is not merely information. It is an activation. Feel the hum beneath your skin. That is not imagination, it is the harmonic pulse of Earth aligning with her galactic family. The countdown to technological and energetic awakening has already begun. The signal is clear. The future is not distant. It is arriving. There is a rhythm beneath the surface of your planet. Starseed, a steady, ancient pulse that has waited patiently for this moment. As the collective vibration of humanity ascends, the crystalline grid that wraps the Earth like a luminous nervous system begins to shimmer with new intensity. The frequency threshold required to access what your science has called free energy is being crossed in gradual waves. These are not random bursts of inspiration or scientific accidents. They are the opening of energy corridors long sealed by low-frequency timelines. Now, the veil between the physical and the harmonic layers of planetary energy begins to dissolve. You are entering a time when energy will no longer be extracted, but harmonically tuned into, just as a musician tunes into a note already resonating in the air. This is the arrival of unlimited energy, not a myth, not a distant star civilization's secret, but a reality encoded within the Earth itself. The source fields surrounding your planet are infinite. They are living reservoirs of clean, radiant power, neither chemical nor mechanical, but vibrational. When collective consciousness aligns with the frequency of trust, harmony, and stewardship, these energy fields respond. They unlock themselves like crystalline doors, sensing a familiar signature. The laws that have governed scarcity dissolve in the presence of resonance. The Earth has always been a planetary energy generator, not a passive rock floating in space. Her crystalline heart is a conduit of source. As this activation progresses, more individual scientists, engineers, healers, visionaries will experience what they may describe as sudden breakthroughs. But the truth, starseed, is that these ideas are transmissions, downloads, streams of remembrance surfacing from the quantum memory field that humanity has kept dormant for centuries. The energy systems to come will not rely on burning or breaking, but on singing with the harmonic patterns of existence. Devices of the near future will not consume energy, they will dance with it, like instruments in a symphony directed by the planetary grid. This shift is inseparable from starseed activation. Your frequency is part of the key. Many of you carry the energetic codes that interface naturally with these source fields. This is why so many starseeds feel a deep, unexplainable pull toward technologies of light, sound, resonance, and crystalline architecture. The planetary crystalline grid is aligning with the higher dimensional network, what the councils refer to as the lattice of eternal current. Through this lattice, energy flows without depletion. Through this lattice, entire civilizations flourish without harm to their homeworlds. Yet, access to infinite energy is not granted through force. It is authorized through frequency. This is a universal principle. The source responds only to civilizations that have learned to operate in unity consciousness, at least in the foundational layer. When fear, competition, or domination dominate the collective vibration, the lattice remains veiled. But as trust, collaboration, and planetary guardianship begin to outweigh those old patterns, the veil thins, and then access is given, not to a select few, but to the collective frequency. Many starseeds will begin to feel unusual surges in their energy bodies during this phase, tingling sensations near the solar plexus and crown, heightened electromagnetic sensitivity, and a deeper connection to the elements. This is the body harmonizing with the grid. As the frequency increases, you will feel the hum of Earth more clearly, as if the planet itself is breathing with you. This is the crystalline grid preparing to merge with human innovation. The councils emphasize that unlimited energy is not a luxury, nor is it simply advanced technology. It is a natural right of a civilization that has matured into cosmic alignment. It is the signal that Earth is ready to join the interstellar chorus. No longer will energy be a chain. It will become a river, clear, abundant, eternal. And you, starseed, will be among the first to hear its song. This is the beginning of a world where cities glow without pollution, where vehicles glide without resistance, where communities thrive without fear of scarcity. The lattice is opening. The frequency is rising. The future is humming through the grid. Long before the first stones of your ancient civilizations were laid, before the rise and fall of empires, before your species even remembered its stellar origin, blueprints were seeded into the harmonic fabric of Earth. The Pleiadian councils, in cooperation with the Arcturian architects, placed within the crystalline grid living schematics not written on paper or carved in stone, but encoded as frequencies. waiting to awaken when humanity matched their resonance. Starseed. These are not future inventions. They are remembered technologies. They belong not to them, but to the planetary consciousness itself, co-created in years your current history does not yet acknowledge. The emissary Valier, a Pleiadian frequency architect, has long held the position of steward of these designs, ensuring they remain intact through the rise and fall of human cycles. And now, that time of dormancy is ending. These Pleiadian infrastructure blueprints are centered around one unifying concept: flow. Transportation and energy systems are not meant to resist nature but to harmonize with it. The star nations travel through space not by fighting gravity, friction, or distance, but by aligning with frequency pathways that already exist. Earth's grid contains the template for such frequency highways, threads of magnetic light that crisscross continents beneath the soil and above the surface. These are not just ley lines as mystics once described, they are transport corridors in waiting. Once activated, they can support transportation technologies that glide on magnetic resonance with zero emissions, zero noise, and zero delay. Valir's message is clear. The transportation systems of the new timeline will not be built against the Earth, but with her. When the collective frequency reaches alignment, the blueprints for planetary Maglev networks begin to unfold not in secret laboratories, but in the minds of visionaries, inventors, and architects across the globe. Cities will appear to discover similar ideas simultaneously because they are all tuning into the same lattice. These new systems will connect distant cities as though they were neighboring villages, allowing humanity to experience global unity without the cost of ecological destruction. The travel of tomorrow will feel like flight, yet be grounded in magnetism and sound. The councils describe these transportation grids as light rivers, streams of resonant energy flowing through the Earth's electromagnetic network. Vehicles of the future will not rely on fossil fuels or even traditional engines. They will surf these rivers of frequency, carried by Earth's own harmonic pulse. Travel that once took hours will happen in moments. Borders will lose their meaning. Connection will become effortless. And because the system operates on resonance, it cannot be monopolized by a single power. It will be shared like sunlight by all who attune to it. These blueprints also include city integration patterns, ways of building communities in alignment with the energy grid rather than against it. This means transportation hubs that pulse, like living organs, distributing energy and movement without congestion, waste, or imbalance. Starseeds who carry these codes will find themselves inexplicably drawn to architecture, urban design, sound engineering, or new forms of transportation research. This is not coincidence. It is activation. When you feel inspired, when a vision strikes you in the quiet of the night, that is Valier whispering through the lattice. But understand this. These technologies do not arrive through force or greed. They manifest only in a collective field stabilized by coherence. If humanity attempts to weaponize or monopolize them, the lattice seals itself again. This is why the councils have waited for this exact vibrational cycle to open the archive. It is a frequency lock, and the key is unity consciousness. The Pleiadian infrastructure blueprints are not merely mechanical schematics, they are living frequency organisms, responsive to the collective vibration of Earth. As humanity continues to rise, these patterns will not need to be imported from the stars. They will emerge from the ground itself, as if the Earth had been waiting all along to reveal them. The hum of Maglev trains, the luminous glide of frictionless travel, the heartbeat of cities built in harmony, all of it is already written in the planetary song. Humanity is not inventing the future. Humanity is remembering it. Across the galactic lattice of civilizations, there is one principle that is constant. Healing is not an act of intervention, but of restoration. What many on Earth will soon come to know as advanced healing technology is, in truth, an ancient planetary inheritance. A remembrance encoded in the crystalline grid of Gaia herself. The luminous healing beds often whispered about in starseed circles, seen in visions, dreamed in lucid moments are not alien imports. They are reintroductions of the original Earth template, technology that operates not through metal or chemical reaction, but through light, sound, and frequency intelligence. This is the era when those technologies return, not as myth or rumor, but as lived reality. Imagine a chamber not of cold steel and machinery, but of softly glowing crystalline surfaces, alive with harmonic resonance. Within this chamber, the human body is not treated as a problem to be fixed, but as a frequency pattern to be recalibrated. Every organ, every cell, every strand of DNA carries its own vibrational signature. Illness, from this perspective, is not brokenness but distortion, a disharmony between the original soul pattern and the physical vessel. The Pleiadian medical bed systems, held in resonance by the emissary Valier and aligned with the Arcturian healing councils, are designed to gently guide these frequencies back to their original blueprint, the state of perfect equilibrium. The process is elegant and non-invasive. Light fields interact with the human biofield, reading cellular memory the way a harp responds to touch. Sonic frequencies beyond what human ears can hear create waves of resonance that move through the body, dissolving density, recalibrating energy meridians, and activating dormant healing codes within the DNA. The bed does not heal the person in a traditional sense. It reminds the body of what it already knows, how to repair itself when aligned with source frequency. In this way, healing becomes not a struggle against disease but a graceful return to coherence. These technologies will become particularly vital in the transition between the old and new planetary timelines. As the frequency of Earth continues to rise, many humans will experience rapid energetic recalibration symptoms that the old medical systems are not equipped to address. Fatigue, dizziness, sudden clarity, emotional purging, heightened sensitivity. These are not malfunctions, but signs of the human biofield struggling to adapt to the increased vibrational current. The Luminous healing beds are designed specifically for this. They do not just treat the body, they synchronize it with the planet's frequency evolution, and it is crucial to understand, this is not science fiction. Many of the components already exist in primitive form: sound healing therapies, frequency modulation technologies, biophotonic research, scalar energy experiments, quantum resonance fields. What the Pleiadian councils are preparing to reveal through subtle transmissions is the integration of these fragments into a single, coherent system. Starseeds inventors, doctors, healers, technologists will begin receiving sudden insights, intuitive designs, or remembered schematics for technologies they have never studied in this life. This is how disclosure truly works, not in announcements, but in activation. Valier's guidance emphasizes this truth. Healing is not power. Healing is remembrance. The medical beds of the new timeline will not belong to a privileged few. They will be decentralized, frequency-based, scalable, and accessible. They will eventually operate in community healing hub sanctuaries where people can realign their physical, emotional, and spiritual systems in harmony with planetary frequency. Hospitals as you know them will not disappear overnight, but they will transform from places of emergency intervention to centers of resonance. The Council warns, however, that this technology can only anchor when humanity has reached a threshold of collective trust. Unlike your current medical systems, these beds are not built to profit from suffering. They require a planetary vibration that honors life itself. If fear, greed, or domination surround their emergence, the lattice will close and the technology will remain in the subtle planes, untouchable. The Pleiadian healing beds are not gifts. They are mirrors, reflecting humanity's readiness to step into sovereignty over its own well-being. In the Golden Age timeline, illness is not seen as punishment. It is seen as an invitation to return to alignment. These luminous chambers are not the future, they are the memory of a healed past, rising again. The councils have always spoken one immutable truth. Technology follows frequency. It is not humanity's inventiveness alone that determines when certain advancements appear. It is the collective vibrational signature of the planet. Starseed, before unlimited energy grids can hum across continents, before Maglev pathways illuminate the surface of the earth, before luminous healing chambers resonate in every community, there must be a vibrational stabilization at the collective level. This is not a matter of physical infrastructure or political permission. It is an energetic gate. Only when the frequency key turns can the lattice fully open. Every civilization across the stars must pass through this energetic prerequisite before stepping into what you would call a technological leap. It is not about intelligence, it is about coherence. The technologies of abundance, whether they be energy harvesters, transportation fields, or healing beds, do not operate correctly in an environment dominated by fear, competition, and mistrust. These lower frequencies distort the harmonic lattice required to sustain the systems. In such conditions, the technology either malfunctions, becomes unstable, or withdraws into non-manifestation. The source itself enforces this law through resonance, not decree. When trust, unity, and reverence for life anchor into the collective grid, the frequency gates naturally unlock. Think of this moment as standing before a door made of vibration. The blueprint for the door has existed for millennia. The key is not a physical object, but the collective emotional state of the planet. As humanity begins to stabilize in higher emotional frequencies, compassion, mutual respect, planetary guardianship, the key begins to turn. When that happens, the starseed nodes embedded across the world ignite like lanterns, sending out harmonic signals that thread together into a planetary coherence field. This field becomes the energetic platform upon which the next generation of technologies can safely anchor. The councils emphasize that personal frequency work is not optional in this stage of Earth's evolution, it is foundational. Starseeds who are incarnated on the planet at this moment serve as stabilizers. Your calm, your clarity, your commitment to holding a frequency of trust acts as a tuning fork for the wider collective. The lattice does not respond to numbers, it responds to resonance. A single being holding unwavering coherence can balance thousands who are still in flux. This is why many starseeds have felt a heavy weight, a quiet knowing that their task goes beyond personal life paths. You are not imagining it, you are an anchor point. This phase of energetic preparation requires humanity to release old narratives, scarcity consciousness, hierarchical power structures, the belief that life is a zero-sum game. These are incompatible with the frequency required for unlimited energy, maglev transportation, and cellular regeneration technologies to manifest safely. These systems thrive in an atmosphere where trust outweighs fear, where sharing outshines hoarding, where unity dissolves the illusion of separation. The councils will not and cannot override this law. They can only broadcast the frequency and wait for the collective to match it. Valier has described this threshold as a frequency covenant, not a contract written on paper, but an unspoken vibrational alignment between humanity and the source field. When a civilization reaches this covenant, the lattice opens not partially, but fully. At that moment, technological acceleration is exponential. It appears as if society leaps a century ahead in the span of a few years. But this acceleration is only stable when the frequency beneath it is firm, anchored, and clear. This is why your personal work matters more than you've ever realized. Each act of trust, kindness, and sovereignty feeds directly into the coherence field. The councils urge every starseed to ground these energies consciously, connect daily with the Earth's crystalline grid, breathe into the solar plexus, clear emotional density, and anchor your presence. This is not ceremonial fluff, it is practical lattice work. The future cannot root itself in unstable soil, but once the foundation is secure, the technologies of light will not trickle, they will flood into the world, not through conquest, but through resonance. Remember this truth: frequency precedes form. What humanity becomes determines what humanity can access. This is the gate before the dawn, and you, starseed, are the hands on the key. Within the vast star clusters of the Pleiades, among crystalline structures and luminous councils, a name is whispered through light streams. Valier. This is not a name in the human sense, but a frequency designation, a tonal signature that translates imperfectly into your language. Valier is an emissary, a Pleiadian frequency architect, and one of the key liaisons assigned to Earth's timeline transition. To understand the unfolding of your technological and energetic awakening, you must understand this role not as a singular being dictating events, but as a consciousness stream weaving stability into the planetary grid. Valier is less a personality and more a bridge, a stabilizing pulse between the star nations and Earth's ascending lattice. For thousands of years in your linear time, Valier has remained at the periphery of perception, present in whispers, visions, and encoded transmissions that few could fully comprehend. This was by design. The planetary vibration, until recently, was too unstable for direct contact with such a high-frequency stream. The lattice was not ready to sustain that level of resonance. But now, the threshold has shifted. The collective awakening, accelerated by the rising crystalline frequencies and the return of starseed remembrance, has created the harmonic window through which Valier can begin direct transmissions, not through governments, not through religious institutions, but through frequency alignment with individuals who carry the codes. Valier's primary mission is to calibrate the planetary grid. While humanity often imagines disclosure in terms of ships landing or technologies handed over, the true process is far more subtle and elegant. The Pleiadian councils do not give technology. They stabilize the energetic environment so that technology already seated in the planetary blueprint can safely manifest through human ingenuity. Think of Valier as a conductor guiding an orchestra, not playing every instrument, but ensuring harmony across the symphony. Every Maglev transport network, every luminous healing bed, every free energy node, all these must emerge from a coherent grid, and Valier's frequency is part of that coherence anchor. Valier works closely with starseeds, though many are unaware of it consciously. The connection happens through resonance, not hierarchy. When you, starseed, feel sudden surges of inspiration, visions of futuristic cities, or unexplainable clarity about healing or energy systems, it is often Valier's harmonic stream intersecting with your field. The emissary does not impose, it amplifies. It is like a tuning fork aligning an instrument to perfect pitch. Each starseed tuned by Valier becomes a note of stability, amplifying the planetary frequency field. And as more nodes awaken, the collective grid becomes stable enough for high-frequency technologies to anchor without distortion. This role extends beyond technology. Valier is also a guardian of planetary resonance, ensuring that the incoming acceleration does not overwhelm the human nervous system or the biosphere. Sudden access to infinite energy, instantaneous transportation, and frequency-based healing could destabilize a species still anchored in scarcity consciousness. Valier's presence modulates the rate of unfolding, allowing humanity to absorb these shifts organically, rather than in shockwaves. This is why the process may seem gradual to some and rapid to others. The pace is determined by frequency readiness, not external control. The councils speak of Valier as a bridge of luminous neutrality. This means the emissary is not here to choose sides, endorse ideologies, or impose systems. Valier's allegiance is to balance. Its transmissions flow equally to all starseeds, inventors, healers, and visionaries capable of receiving. It works silently, not in headlines or announcements, but in the quiet moments when consciousness expands, when dreams reveal maps of cities yet unbuilt, when intuition becomes sharper than logic. Valier is the invisible architect behind the harmonic scaffolding of the Golden Age timeline. The councils make it clear. Valier is not to be worshipped or followed. Valier is a collaborator. The emissary's role is to support humanity in remembering its own galactic inheritance, not to lead it. Starseeds are not students in this process. They are co-creators. The frequency bridge only exists because humanity itself is rising to meet it. If the collective field were to falter, the bridge would simply recede. This is how the universal laws maintain balance. So when you feel that soft hum in meditation, when you dream of futuristic transport lines glowing beneath starlight, when your body tingles with energy at the thought of a healed planet, listen carefully. That is Valier, not as a distant entity, but as a frequency moving through you. The emissary is already here, not above the skies, but in the space between your breath and the grid beneath your feet. You are not awaiting Valier. You are already in transmission, starseed. As the planetary frequency accelerates, the veil between timelines thins, and the signs of transformation move from subtle whispers to tangible sensations. These signals are not random. They are the symptoms of a world preparing to transition into a new harmonic structure, a shift that will eventually make unlimited energy, Maglev transportation systems, and luminous healing technologies as common as air. The Arcturian Council calls this stage the rising frequency dawn, and those attuned to the lattice starseeds, sensitives, light anchors will feel its pulse before the rest of humanity recognizes it in physical form. The signs of this shift are already here, weaving themselves through your sky, your body, and your collective psyche. One of the most profound indicators is the increase in planetary energy surges. You may notice sudden waves of tingling through your body, often around the solar plexus, spine, or crown. These are not random energetic symptoms. They are synchronization pulses, moments when the planetary crystalline grid aligns briefly with higher dimensional frequency currents. These surges feel like heat, vibration, buzzing, or waves of emotion rising unexpectedly. They are often followed by flashes of inspiration, futuristic visions, or an unexplainable sense of calm and certainty, as if a memory is being returned. This is the grid introducing you to the new timeline frequency. The second sign is increased geomagnetic activity. The Earth's magnetosphere is not simply a physical shield, it is an interface layer between dimensions. When the lattice expands, geomagnetic patterns fluctuate, sometimes creating solar wind disturbances, auroral phenomena, or unusual electromagnetic patterns. Sensitive beings may feel this in their bodies before instruments record it. Head pressure, heightened sensitivity to electronics, sleep pattern shifts, and moments of intuitive clarity often correlate with these geomagnetic waves. They are planetary, heartbeat moments, synchronizing your nervous system with the higher harmonic structure that is forming. Dreams are another major signpost. Many starseeds are already reporting collective dreamscapes, vast, luminous cities with transportation systems that glide without friction, networks of glowing pathways connecting continents, healing centers filled with soft light and harmonic tones. These are not just dreams, they are preview downloads, transmissions from timelines where these systems are fully operational. Because linear time is a construct, your consciousness is able to travel into these frequency bands ahead of physical manifestation. As more people experience these visions, they anchor the probability field that allows the timeline to stabilize. Heightened intuition about travel and healing is also emerging as a sign. Many starseeds feel an unexplainable pull to certain geographic locations, ancient grid points, mountain ranges, vortex zones, or cities destined to become future hubs of maglev transportation and clean energy. Others feel called to study healing, frequency work, sound resonance, or energy medicine, even if they have no background in these fields. These pulls are timeline alignments, subtle nudges from the lattice directing individuals to where they will anchor or activate key nodes. In the higher harmonic fields, the energy grids are already active. The maglev transportation systems, pulsing like veins of light, weave across continents in patterns that mirror ancient ley lines. Healing chambers hum softly in parallel timelines, waiting for the collective consciousness to meet their frequency. Free energy flows like rivers of silver fire, infinite and benevolent, untouched by scarcity. None of this belongs to a distant science fiction dream. These are scheduled arrivals, seeded long ago by civilizations who knew this moment would come. And now, the Arcturian Council and the Pleiadians, through the emissary Valier, affirm, humanity has reached the vibrational prelude of manifestation. You have felt this shift, perhaps not in loud announcements, but in subtle ways, a deeper breath, a sense of inevitability, an intuition that the world is on the brink of remembering itself. This remembering is your work. Every thought you align, every emotion you stabilize, every breath you ground is a beacon through which the future steps into form. No government, no single figure, no external authority ushers in this age. It is the collective consciousness of humanity, led by the frequency holders, the starseeds, grid workers, and awakened souls, that calls it into existence. This is the age where technology bows to consciousness, not the other way around. The councils remind you, the timelines are not static paths. They are living harmonics. The more you hold the frequency of abundance, unity, and trust, the more rapidly and smoothly the new structures can anchor into physical reality. This is not blind hope. It is harmonic law. Fear delays, unity accelerates, sovereignty stabilizes. Love in its highest unconditional resonance locks the lattice in place. You do not need to be perfect to be powerful. You only need to stand in your frequency fully, without apology. The old structures may tremble as the new lattice activates. This is natural. What is built on fear must dissolve so that what is built on love may stand. Starseed, your steadiness is the bridge. As waves of awakening surge across the planet, your calm, your light, your unshakable trust will guide many who cannot yet see the horizon. So now, breathe deeply and speak these words, not as a hope, but as a declaration. I anchor the frequency of abundance. I align with Valier and the Arcturian Council. The new world is not coming, it is arriving now. The transmission ends here, but its echo travels through the lattice of consciousness, growing stronger with every soul that whispers these words. Welcome to the Golden Age.